the most curious Islamic scholar because of his future predictions. A saint whose signature is found on Mars and who holds the secrets of the heavens. He moves through dimensions, ventures into unknown realms, and brings back news from these places. Centuries ago, he predicted the rise of the Ottoman Empire and revealed the secrets of its sultans. Describing future technologies long before their time and unraveling the mysteries of existence, he is the Sheikh al-Akbar of the world of knowledge. His life, wisdom, and incredible miracles have left an unforgettable mark on human history. But why were his books banned? Why did some scholars regard him as un-Islamic? And the miraculous discovery of his grave will shock you. Prepare yourself for the extraordinary story of the Sheikh of Sheikhs, Ibn Arabi. The life and miracles of Ibn Arabi. Muhyiddin ibn Arabi was born on July 28, 1165, in Murcia, the capital city in the southeastern region of Andalusia. Ibn Arabi mentioned that his father was a devout individual who frequently read the Quran and was deeply engaged in the study of Islamic jurisprudence and hadith. His mother, Nur, was from the lineage of the Ansar, and he attended the gatherings of Fatima bint al-Musanna, a female saint. Ibn Arabi noted that he came from a noble Arab lineage belonging to the Bani Tayyi tribe. Those who appreciated Ibn Arabi's views acknowledged his authority in Sufism by granting him the title Sheikh al-Akbar, the greatest sheikh, and recognized him as a renewer of religious sciences with the title Muhyiddin. Ibn Arabi shared that during his early teenage years, he retreated into seclusion following a spiritual sign and decided to uncover the treasures within his inner world. He stated that as a result of these periods of isolation and spiritual discipline, sometimes lasting up to 14 months, the doors of divine knowledge gradually began to open to him. Ibn Arabi received his first Quranic lessons from a man named Abu Abdullah al-Hayhat. During one of his early retreats, he claimed to have had a spiritual encounter in which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, addressed him with the command, "Hold firmly to me and you will be saved." Interpreting this as a directive to study hadith both outwardly and spiritually, Ibn Arabi devoted himself to the science of hadith for an extended period. Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyya. After visiting the tomb of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in Medina, Muhyiddin ibn Arabi continued attending study circles in Mecca and engaged in performing tawaf, circumambulation, in the sacred mosque. It was here that the inspiration for his monumental work, Al-Futuhat al-Makkiyya, the Meccan Revelations, began to take form. The book, which took 23 years to complete, was, according to Ibn Arabi, a record of divine knowledge revealed to him either during tawaf or while in spiritual meditation in the sacred mosque. He stated that everything he wrote in this work was first shown to him, then dictated to him through divine guidance, and finally transcribed onto paper. After staying in Mecca for approximately 2.5 years, Ibn Arabi joined a pilgrimage caravan to Baghdad. He stayed there for 12 days before traveling to Mosul, where he studied under many scholars. Ibn Arabi mentioned that one of these individuals, who lived in a garden near a place called Mukla outside Mosul, had received a cloak from Khidr. Following a divine sign, this individual later passed the same cloak to Ibn Arabi in the same location. Ibn Arabi stayed in Mosul for about a year, during which he authored Ed-Dene Zulhatul Mevsiliye, a work focused on the secrets of worship. After his travels to Aleppo and Sivas, Ibn Arabi settled in Malatya in 1218, 615 AH. When his friend Mekluddin Ishak passed away, Ibn Arabi married his widow, following her late husband's will. His son, Sahadeddin Muhammad, was born in Malatya. While in Sivas, Ibn Arabi had a dream in which he saw Sultan Kikavus declaring jihad against the Franks in Antioch and laying siege to the city, ultimately emerging victorious. He conveyed this vision to the Sultan through a poem sent from Malatya. After moving to Damascus, Ibn Arabi reported a divine vision, Mubashirat, in which the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, appeared to him with a book in hand, saying, "This is a book showing the nests of wisdom. Take it and explain it to those who will benefit." Inspired by this vision, Ibn Arabi authored Fusus al-Hikam in 1230 in Damascus. Ibn Arabi lived for a time along the Malatya-Konya axis, key regions of the Seljuk Empire. He resided in Malatya for nearly 4 years and in Konya for a similar duration. During his time in these areas, he organized gatherings of knowledge and spirituality, accepting disciples he deemed spiritually gifted. He also offered counsel to the Seljuk sultans. Ibn Arabi was a prolific writer, mentioning the titles of 248 books in al-Filiste. He categorized his works into 3 groups: those he entrusted to others, those in public circulation, and those in his possession but yet to be revealed, awaiting divine permission for disclosure. Out of these, 98 have survived to the present day. Ibn Arabi once fell from a horse and broke his leg. When his students rushed to assist him, he calmly said, "Do not panic. Yesterday, while reciting al-Fatiha, I saw myself falling from the horse and breaking my leg." The miracle of being untouched by fire. One day, an atheist philosopher attended a gathering of Ibn Arabi. The philosopher denied the miracles of the prophets, peace be upon them, and attempted to explain everything through philosophy. It was a cold winter day, and there was a large brazier with burning fire in the middle of the room. The philosopher mocked the belief that Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was thrown into fire without being burned, saying, "Ignorant people think that Prophet Ibrahim was thrown into fire and didn't burn. How can this be possible? Fire burns and scorches because it inherently has the property to burn." In response, Ibn Arabi recited the verse from Surah al-Anbiya, 2169. "We said, 'O fire, be cool and safe for Ibrahim.'" He then picked up the brazier, poured its contents onto the philosopher's garment, and stirred the fire with his hand. The philosopher stood frozen in shock as he watched the fire neither burn Ibn Arabi's hand nor his garment. After returning the fire to the brazier, Ibn Arabi told the philosopher, "Come closer and put your hands into the fire." As soon as the philosopher extended his hands, he felt its scorching heat and immediately withdrew them. Ibn Arabi then explained, "Whether fire burns or not depends on the will of Allah." Overwhelmed by what he had witnessed, the atheist philosopher recited the testimony of faith, Kalima Shahada, and embraced Islam. His death and the miraculous discovery of his grave. One day, Ibn Arabi climbed a mountaintop and shouted loudly, "What you worship is beneath my feet." Scholars of the time misunderstood this statement, accusing him of blasphemy by interpreting his words as claiming, "Allah is beneath my feet." Consequently, they declared him an unbeliever and sentenced him to death. Even his burial site was hidden. Instead of a specific grave, he was buried in an unmarked location on a mountain. However, Ibn Arabi once said, "When the S meets the Esh, my grave and its purpose will become clear. Many years passed, and during the Ottoman era, Sultan Selim I conquered Damascus. It was during this period that the mystery of Ibn Arabi's grave began to unfold. The local people, having heard of the events surrounding Ibn Arabi, began searching for his grave. Despite extensive inquiries, no one could determine its location. Eventually, a shepherd said, "I do not know where his grave is, but there is a place over there where no sheep graze and no animal steps. The grass there grows on its own, and when the time comes, it withers and dries without being touched." Upon hearing this, Sultan Selim I concluded that the site must be Ibn Arabi's grave. He ordered the area to be excavated, and when they dug, they found Ibn Arabi's body intact. A beautiful tomb was then constructed at the site. Sultan Selim also asked why Ibn Arabi had been executed. The locals replied that it was because he had said, "What you worship is beneath my feet." Curious about where Ibn Arabi had made this statement, Sultan Selim investigated and located the spot. He ordered the area to be dug up, and they discovered a pot of gold. Sultan Selim remarked, "Did the Prophet not say, 'Your religion, your wealth, your direction of prayer, and your women are your objects of devotion'?" Ibn Arabi was referring to this when he said, "What you worship is beneath my feet." He meant, there is gold beneath my feet. But people at the time misunderstood him and wrongfully executed him. Thus, two of Ibn Arabi's miracles were revealed simultaneously: his indication of the location of the gold and Sultan Selim's enlightenment of the truth surrounding the incident. When the Ottoman Sultan Selim I arrived in Damascus, he understood the meaning of Ibn Arabi's prophecy. When the S meets the Shash, Ibn Arabi's grave, and its meaning will be revealed. Here, the S referred to Selim, and the Esh referred to Sham, Damascus. Ibn Arabi's knowledge and predictions. In Futuhat al-Makkiyya, Volume 1, Chapter 8, Ibn Arabi describes his journeys through the universe with divine permission, traversing realms through Tayyi al-Makan, folding of space. In the places he visited, including Mars, he left greetings and marks as signs for future generations. While some of these locations remain undiscovered, Ibn Arabi referred to all the places he visited as the land of truth. Ibn Arabi, who had an exceptional education in both religious and scientific fields, even described the working principles of the telegraph centuries before its invention. His foresight was so profound that even Edison reportedly referred to him as "my master." In his book Shajarat al-Numaniyya fi Dawlat al-Uthmaniyya, The Tree of Numan Regarding the Ottoman State, written 70 years before the establishment of the Ottoman Empire, Ibn Arabi provided mysterious indications of its emergence and future greatness. The foretelling of the Ottoman Empire. Sheikh al-Akbar Ibn Arabi, who passed away in Damascus in 1240 CE, 59 years before the establishment of the Ottoman Empire, authored a remarkable work titled Shajarat al-Numaniyya fi Dawlat al-Uthmaniyya, The Tree of Numan Regarding the Ottoman State. At a time when neither Osman Ghazi nor the world-dominating Ottoman Empire existed, Ibn Arabi relied on divine knowledge, ilm al-ladunni, and certain Quranic verses to write this small treatise, which translates to Genealogy of the Ottoman State. In this work, Ibn Arabi unveiled numerous hidden truths about the Ottoman dynasty. According to his account, he detailed the caliphate to be established by the Ottomans, the rulers of this dynasty, their times, reigns, and armies. Despite being one of the greatest mystical and scholarly miracles predicting future events, Shajarat al-Numaniyya has not been subjected to serious research to this day. Consequently, its cryptic symbols and references have been treated merely as simple anecdotes or narrations. In some sources, the book is referred to as al-Da'irat al-Numaniyya, the Circle of Numan. Ibn Arabi attributes his insights about the Ottoman state to divine inspiration, supported by clues provided by Hazrat Ali. May Allah be pleased with him. The mystical basis of Shajarat al-Nu'maniyya. In the introduction to Shajarat al-Nu'maniyya fi Dawlat al-Uthmaniyya, Ibn Arabi begins by praising Allah and explaining how, through the wisdom of symbols and signs, he was able to discern the secrets of letters. He explicitly reveals how he gained knowledge about the yet-to-be-established Ottoman state and why he composed this work. Ibn Arabi states that he attained this understanding through deep meditation and contemplation of the Quranic verse from Surah Ar-Rum 32-5. The Romans have been defeated in the nearest land, but they, after their defeat, will triumph within a few years. To Allah belongs the command before and after. And that day the believers will rejoice with the help of Allah. He helps whom He wills, and He is the Almighty, the Merciful. He shares that during his meditation he inquired about the hidden secrets related to this verse from Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. Hazrat Ali responded with clear explanations and named the work Shajarat al-Numaniyya, referring to the genealogy. Upon learning that this prophecy was connected to the time of the Ottoman state, Ibn Arabi compiled all the knowledge he received about the caliphate, the rulers, and their eras, as well as the armies, to create this extraordinary work. This treatise serves as a testament to Ibn Arabi's profound insight into the future and his spiritual connection to divine knowledge, which continues to fascinate scholars and mystics alike. According to documents preserved in the Ottoman Prime Ministry archives, Ottoman sultans took great care in maintaining the tomb of Ibn Arabi until the final years of the empire. They appointed salaried officials in every era to oversee the upkeep of the mosque and the tomb, ensuring their preservation. In Shajarat al-Nu'maniyya, Ibn Arabi refers to Sultan Selim I, known as Yavuz Sultan Selim, as the holder of the talisman. He predicted that Selim's accession to the throne would occur after that of Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror, Fatih Sultan Mehmed. Ibn Arabi described the greatest talisman as the caliphate itself, foretelling that the caliphate would pass to the Ottomans through Selim I. Predictions about Selim I's reign. Ibn Arabi mentioned the severe and arduous Ruh path, which scholars have interpreted as a reference to Sultan Selim's victory in the Battle of Ridania. He also alluded to the Chaldiran campaign, where Sultan Selim calmed his troops with a historic speech after they expressed grievances over the length of the campaign. Furthermore, Ibn Arabi's mention of the frowning brows in the stations is seen as a reference to Sultan Selim's distinctive arched black eyebrows and his title, Yavuz, the Stern. Ibn Arabi also foretold that when the person he had described as the bearer of victory reached his shrine in triumph, he would discover Ibn Arabi's ruined grave. This prophecy came true when Sultan Selim I located Ibn Arabi's neglected grave and ordered the construction of a mausoleum and a mosque beside it. This act of restoration fulfilled Ibn Arabi's predictions and cemented his spiritual connection with the Ottoman dynasty. Predictions about two Ottoman sultans. One of the prophecies mentioned in Shajarat al-Nu'maniyya concerns Sultan Abdulaziz. It foretells his removal from the throne through a military coup and his subsequent assassination. The text provides detailed insights into this event with phrases like, "The destiny established will manifest the caliphate in a person with an open conscience, and the soldiers of the split and destroyed moon will follow him." Here, The split moon, likened to Sultan Selim von Fur in its stern and resolute appearance, refers to Sultan Abdulaziz. The prophecy indicates that in 1876 he would be deposed through a coup orchestrated by Mithat Pasha and Hussein Avni Pasha. Shortly after, Sultan Abdulaziz would be killed, with his wrists cut, leading to his martyrdom. The prophecy also points to the events following Sultan Abdulaziz's death. It states, "At the moon's ascension, there will be chaos and disarray, and opposition to him will arise from the very beginning." This is interpreted as a reference to Sultan Murad V, who ascended the throne after Abdulaziz but suffered from mental instability, leading to his removal. The prophecy then foretells the rise of Sultan Abdulhamid II, whose name begins with the letter Ain, Arabic for A, as the next ruler. Sultan Abdulhamid II and the Jewish settlement in Palestine. The text also addresses the Zionist movement's efforts to settle in cities within Jerusalem and Palestine. It predicts that Sultan Abdulhamid II would oppose these efforts and resist granting permission for settlement. The prophecy states, first, he will be promised residence in 5 stations from the east. In the second attempt, he will be urged to give something to the one marked as the cause of the nation's many insults. This is interpreted as the pressure Abdulhamid faced from international forces and the Jewish community, who sought to establish settlements in Palestine during his reign. Despite such pressures, Sultan Abdulhamid II steadfastly refused these demands, aligning with the prophecy's depiction of his resistance. Ibn Arabi's prediction about the fall of the Ottoman Empire. In Shajarat al-Nu'maniyya, Ibn Arabi indicated that the last ruler of the Ottoman Empire, referred to as the last Mim in his cryptic language, would be Sultan Mehmed VI Vahideddin. He foretold that after his reign, the Ottoman dynasty and its lineage would come to an end. He also prophesied that the fall of the Ottoman state would mark the beginning of the end times, with the emergence of widespread tribulations and dark days. Ibn Arabi concluded his mysterious and enigmatic book with the following statement: "After this, a great tribulation will arise. Lands will be conquered, and servants will turn towards a new world filled with emptiness and desires. The rulers of nations will change hands, and loyalty to the one initially signaled will become difficult. Upon the return to the second, the stance recorded in the beginning will be openly opposed. Qualities deserving condemnation will be validated, and its rule will align with the imagined notion of the hour emerging at the end of time." The aftermath of the Ottoman Empire. According to Ibn Arabi, after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, humanity would face a period of chaos and instability. He predicted that Rum, interpreted as the Western powers, would unite the East and the West under their rule. Following this, a significant figure would emerge between the Kaaba and the well of Zamzam, referred to cryptically as the Subtle One, who would be acknowledged and pledged allegiance. This figure is associated with the awaited Mehdi, whom Ibn Arabi describes as the last Mim. He foretells that after a period of oppression and corruption, the promised Mehdi will bring justice and establish peace, reviving the earth with fairness and the light of Islam. The connection between the first and last Mim Ibn Arabi connects this prophecy to the first Mim, referring to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, whose light and guidance initially spread Islam across the world. The last Mim, referring to Mehdi, is destined to restore justice and spread the light of Islam once again, purifying the earth from tyranny and evil. From this prophecy, it is understood that although the fall of the Ottoman Empire would usher in an era of turmoil and trials, Allah's plan includes sending the Mehdi to re-establish justice and spread Islam's light and truth, bringing peace to the world once more. After delivering this great glad tidings, Ibn Arabi concluded his enigmatic work on the genealogy of the Ottoman dynasty, Shajarat al-Nu'maniyya, with the words, "The secrets I have described here in hidden symbols are completed with praise to Allah." Munachimbashi Ahmed Dede remarked that Ibn Arabi had foreseen the Ottoman Empire's grandeur and that its glory would last until the end of time. Ibn Arabi is recognized as a great Islamic scholar and mystic. Bediüzzaman Said Nursi referred to him as a miracle of Islamic knowledge. According to Nursi, Ibn Arabi was on the right path and a person of sound faith. However, he noted that not all of Ibn Arabi's writings serve as guidance or reveal ultimate truths. Said Nursi observed that Ibn Arabi sometimes went beyond the limits of Islamic principles, deviating from the framework of Ahl al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah. Some of his statements, taken literally, appear to express disbelief. However, Nursi emphasized that Ibn Arabi himself was free of disbelief and deviation, as faith lies in the person's heart, not merely in their words. Said Nursi quoted a statement from Ibn Arabi to clarify how one should approach his works. "Whoever is not from us and does not understand our position will be harmed by reading our books." Nursi explained that reading Ibn Arabi's books, particularly those discussing Wahdat al-Wujud, the unity of existence, can be harmful in this era. Although Ibn Arabi was a person of strong faith, some of his words, if interpreted literally, may lead to confusion or disbelief. Such works require deep understanding and expertise, which most readers lack. The ban on Ibn Arabi's books. Due to the potential for misunderstanding, some Ottoman sultans prohibited the reading of Ibn Arabi's books. Ibn Abidin stated that it is forbidden, haram, to publish or distribute Ibn Arabi's Fusus al-Hikam, as it contains topics that appear to necessitate disbelief. He attributed this to interpolations and additions made to the book by opponents of Islam who sought to distort its message. The path of Wahdat al-Wujud, which Ibn Arabi pioneered, remains a significant concept in Sufism, but is best approached with caution and profound knowledge. As such, his works are better suited for scholars and specialists in the field, rather than the general public. Those who follow this path assert that there is no existence other than Allah. For example, if such a person were to look at a table, they would not perceive the table itself and would say, "No, there is no table. There is only Allah. Only Allah exists there." They claim that Allah's attributes and names are not present there, but rather His essence, Zat, alone. Figures like Ibn Arabi or Hallaj Mansur reached spiritual stations that are incomprehensible to people like us. This is a path we have never traveled. Even if we tried, we could not achieve it because such individuals hold an exalted spiritual rank. Ibn Arabi expressed these thoughts while in a state of spiritual ecstasy. Said Nursi explained that such a station is so pleasurable that those who reach it do not wish to leave. From that level, Ibn Arabi faced no issues in his faith by Allah's permission. However, he warned, "Let no one who does not belong to us read my works." He spoke from a rank where he had transcended the material world, declaring that nothing exists apart from Allah. If someone overly attached to causes, sebepler, were to make such a claim, they might attribute divinity to those causes, thereby harming their faith. The dangers of Wahdat al-Wujud. For this reason, the path of Wahdat al-Wujud, the unity of existence, is dangerous and should be avoided. It is a risky, narrow, and specialized path, yet it holds a significant place in history for its allure and uniqueness. Its appeal, grounded in unity, has captured the attention of many, though few have successfully navigated it. Ibn Arabi was one of the most prominent mystics fully devoted to the Wahdat al-Wujud school, with his fame spreading across the Islamic world and even into Europe. He passed away in 1240 CE. Advice for the soul. Drowning is the domain of Satan. Whatever state you are in, seek refuge in Allah. Feelings, thoughts, imaginations, and voices cannot harm you. Free yourself from negative thoughts and obsessions through these teachings and prayers. If you feel alone in this vast world, this channel is for you. This video needs your support to reach others like you before it gets lost in the vast ocean of YouTube. Every subscription helps us reach one more broken heart. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We plan to continue sharing more videos about Ibn Arabi and his miracles, inshallah.